All right. Welcome to Sunday morning's meditation here at Kunzang Pale Choling. Thanks so much for coming. And thank you to those who are watching online. We stream this every Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Also streaming from both Facebook and YouTube. So before we begin meditation today, let's take a moment to remember our motivation for being here. So whatever it took for us to come here today, whatever we were doing before this, we can just let that, let that go for now and just focus in on our motivation and intention and establishing that motivation and generating that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So it's very important that we start with a proper motivation because it determines the direction of our actions. So whether we do meditation or we sit down for a Dharma teaching, we really want to start with that. So we'll do that now. Just take a moment, again, to rest our mind and generate that compassion for all beings, and that this meditation practice brings benefit to all beings. So we'll do that now. All right. So before we begin, we will be doing an opening prayer called the 7-line prayer. I'll put it up on the screen. And we will do that 3 times together. Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pemage Sadumbula Yasan Shogi Nudrumne Pemajane Shesudra Korukandrom Mambokur Keki Jesuda Druki Jinjilo Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Bema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pemage Sadumpula Yasan Shogi Nodrumne Pemajane Shesudra Korukandrom Mampokor Keki Jesuda Druki Jinjilok Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pemage Sadumpula Yasan Shogi Nodrumne Pemajane Shesudra Korukandrom Mampokor Keki Jesuda Druki Jinjilok Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Bema Siddhi Hum. All right. So today we're going to be doing a few sessions of meditation together. But first we always want to start with what is meditation and why do we do it and why should we do it and why does it and how does it bring benefit? So meditation is the natural state of our mind when it's relaxed, stable, and open. Meditation is a way to train our mind to become more calm, relaxed, open, and yet also with alertness and wakefulness. So, there are many, many ways we hear about meditation these days. But what is it really? What's the point of it? What's the whole point of it? Is it just to make us feel good or relax us? No, it's much more than that. It's actually the key to creating more spaciousness in our mind. And I know for myself, I have so many different distractions and things and ways that, all these different directions that I get pulled in my life. So I know that modern lifestyle really it's hard for us to focus. It's hard for us to find moments where we can really give our mind true rest, true spaciousness, the gift of that spaciousness. So when we can have moments of that spaciousness in our mind, then it changes everything. It can't not change everything in our life, because it allows us to have a pause, a break, a buffer between our actions and our reactions, before we blow up with some big emotional nonsense. So it helps us balance. It balances our emotions. And it's the first step in developing bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So, especially on the path of Dharma, that's so important. So when we can act from a space of spaciousness in our mind, then everything changes. Everything, then bodhicitta can spring forth from our mind. So we can take a comfortable seat. So if you're watching online, if you're in a chair or if you're seated on the ground, that's fine. Either way, here as well. If we're on the ground, if we're on the floor, we can do a traditional hand posture like this, the right over the left with our thumbs touching in our lap. We want to make sure our shoulders are back and our elbows are back. And if we're in a chair, we can also we can do that posture as well, or if it's more comfortable, we can put our hands on our thighs. But the main point is keeping our spine straight. So this is an opportunity for us to really work on our posture too, because we can think of so many ways that we are maybe hunched over our computer or our phones. So this is an opportunity to really extend our spine, not in a rigid way, in a relaxed way, but keeping the spine straight, almost like we have a little string pulling the crown of our head up. And we're going to breathe naturally. And our gaze is downward to the floor. And if we're drawing a line from the bridge of our nose going downward to the floor, we're picking a spot on that line to rest our gaze. So we're not intently staring at the floor or some, speck of something we see on the ground. We're just resting our gaze towards the floor. So, and then our mouth will remain slightly open. We'll do this by having the tip of our tongue on the back of our front teeth. And again, breathing naturally. And the focus of our attention for this meditation today is on the breath. So we're focusing on the breath. And this meditation that we're doing today is called Shamatha meditation. So all of this instruction is taught by Jetsama in her book, Stabilizing the Mind. And she uses this wonderful phrase that about the breath, focusing on the breath, that we put a very gossamer thin attention on our breath, like a feather gently riding the wave of our breath. So we can think of that again. We have a very subtle attention on the breath. So it's not a heavy intention or heavy attention on the breath. We're not, thinking, okay, inhale, exhale. Just very light attention. So whenever we get distracted or thoughts come up, you can drop the thought, return to the breath. Again and again, return to the breath. Whatever our mind wants to do, return to the breath. If we're distracted by internal thoughts, we return to the breath. If we're distracted by external sounds or movement, return to the breath. If we get especially distracted, We can imagine cutting the thought and throwing it out, or picking up the thought and tossing it out. We just want to let those thoughts, we can let them rise like the surface, to the surface of a pond, and let them pop and just let them go. So again, we just return to the breath. Gossamer thin attention on the breath, like a feather gently riding the wave of a breath. So we're going to do this, we're going to start with a shorter meditation and then extend it a little bit longer, and then come back to a shorter meditation to finish. So we will begin that now. This gong timer here. All right. So we had a teaching here a week or so ago with our resident Kempo Karze, and he was touching a little bit on meditation, and was talking about how between the two, what's more important in meditation? Is it our body, is it our posture, or is it our mind? And you can probably guess that it's the mind. And so he was talking about how even if our body is, perfect posture and everything, we can almost trick ourselves, maybe others, to think, oh, we're doing this meditation so great. So, or we look like we're really intently focused, and, our body's on the right position. But what is our mind doing? And there's very subtle forms of thought. So even when we don't have these big kind of gross thoughts that are very distracting, we can even feel just into subtle thoughts of body sensations and whatnot. And are those feelings in our body then distracting us and becoming ways that our mind can be tangled in, how our body feels? Or, so sometimes it's not always like a voice in our head spewing thoughts at us. Sometimes it's more subtle than that. So we just have to, and I'm definitely guilty of that, where my body feels so still. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm realizing there's just still many, many thoughts going on in the background. So again, whether you're just starting meditation or you've been doing it for a while, just starting where you're at. So if you've been doing it for a while, maybe you're very comfortable doing 45 minutes or an hour of meditation. If you're just starting, trying to just create longer moments of spaciousness in your mind is very important. So you can start with 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and see how you fare each time. And some days you'll be very distracted, and other days you'll feel very clear in your mind. So it's not a matter of judging ourselves day to day, but it's a matter of trying to be consistent in our practice, trying to return again and again to our meditation. So let's just increase our time. We'll do 15 minutes together. All right, starting now.
Can stretch or have any water if you need. Okay. So our meditation doesn't always need to be formal like this and sitting down. We can also focus and check in with our breath when we're walking, like a walking meditation, when we're transitioning throughout our day. So sometimes, like I've said before, if you're getting out of your car, about to go somewhere, you can just sit and focus in on your breath before getting out of your car. You're standing in line, or, maybe first thing when you wake up in the morning is you sit upright in bed and just do a minute of meditation there, starting your day off with that spaciousness, and then trying to carry that throughout our day. So we really want this thread of meditation and mindfulness on the breath to continue throughout our day and our week, so that we make this like a habit. We feel used to it in our mind, so that we can call forth that state of our mind more easily, call forth that spaciousness in our mind more easily. So we'll do one more shorter session to finish off, and then we'll do some closing prayers. And I do want to mention that we have resources on our YouTube channel, Kunzang Pale Choling YouTube channel, that has many meditations on there as well. It's called our meditation playlist. There's also teachings on there, different types of meditation, and just tips on how to incorporate it more in your life. So that is always available to you. And then again, we're here every Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. All right, so let's do a shorter one to close, and then start that now. So. finish today with the closing prayers. Pass those. I'll put those up on the screen. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I'll ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you next weekend. And again, we have more resources online at our YouTube channel under meditation playlist. So thank you so much for watching, and